Hey, what's going on, everybody? The other day we did a video of this Land Honor backhoe attachment. I know that the video cut short when the battery died and I didn't get a chance to show you how we finished up the project. And if you remember from when we started, had a 20-inch wide bucket. The way the back of the bucket was designed, it's 3/16 mild steel. There was nothing going from the sides of the bucket to the mount. So we cut it down, made it, actually it's an 11-inch bucket. It's 10 inches between the sides, but it's 11 inches from outside to outside. And what else did we do? Oh, we reinforced underneath inside of here. I don't know if it'll focus or not, but we added some tubing in there, welded it all back together, painted her yellow so that we could see the tip of the bucket. It was just gray like the rest of the backhoe attachment. Didn't really like that. We have the same yellow from our machine, so I went ahead and painted the tip of the bucket yellow. Of course it's coming off quickly, but that's kind of the nature of it. Anyway, I've pulled one stump out with it at a friend's house and abused it a little bit there. It wasn't very big, maybe a 10-inch stump. But now, I don't even know, I haven't measured the bottom of this. I'd say it's probably about 16-inch stump, which you can't see it because it's buried in dirt. Now we have a bigger one to take out. Just kind of for reference, these are the roots. That's a decent sized root. And before, what happened when the first time I went to use that Land Honor bucket attachment, the very first root we hit, which I think might have been this one, it wasn't huge, but it was big enough to where the second I hit it, I didn't even feel the skid loader touch it. It just folded the bucket in, and I mean, it really folded it in bad. So obviously we had to address that issue, so we did. And as you can see now, I am abusing it. I am ripping through roots. I figured at least this way we can see what it's capable of. I'm not as afraid of beating on it as I was before, only because I found a company, Terra Attachments, that sells the same style quick attach bucket. So, and they have all sorts of things. They have shears, they have buckets, they've got grapples and everything. The only other thing on this that we reinforced is the attach plate itself is just 3/16, and if you look up, if I can get it up high enough, just bent over. There's barely any gusseting or support there. So what happened was, when we pulled in with the arm, or the attachment, the backhoe arm, it was actually bending. I can see what I'm doing here. From here, it was bending it that way. And so I went ahead and got a piece of 1/4 by 3 by 2.5 angle and welded it in there. We welded it all the way around and added that as a support to see if that was going to be enough to keep from bending it again. And now I can stick that bucket in the ground and just back the skid loader up, and it just pulls the dirt. And I've been pulling roots that way. I've been abusing the crap out of it. I figured I trashed it in 30 seconds when it was brand new without even trying to hardly use it. And if I'm going to take this to a job site and actually put it to use and try to, rip some stumps out or dig a trench, I want to know that I can accidentally hit a rock or a stump or a piece of concrete, pulling it with force, and not just fold the whole thing in half. So we're going to test it out here. I'm going to go ahead and stick this on the tripod. welders and fabricators. So, not a big deal for me to fix, but check this out. Ripped it right out of the end of the boom. So, here, give me that. We will be doing a video very shortly of how we're going to repair that. Oh man. We're just going to keep making it stronger and stronger until we stop literally destroying it. I want to be able to put this thing to work and abuse it. I don't want to have to baby it. If I'm babying it, I'm not making money. If I'm breaking it, I'm not making money. But if I'm babying it, I'm not being productive. So we're going to get this thing beefed up and usable for. All right, so we pulled the bucket off. We can see a little bit better the damage, what has happened here. So apparently that's a pretty weak point. It's a pretty weak point on it. I mean, the pin here hasn't budged. This framing hasn't budged, but it had enough pull on the bucket when I was backing up to tear the pin right out. To tear the pin clear out of it. So we are going to begin the process of fixing that. Let's see if I can find a place that's maybe right here. Maybe this here would be a good spot. If you look at it, which I'll come in close. This is the sleeve that they had inside there. It's rusted terribly, and this is brand new. We've had it for like a week. Maybe too close. Better back up. So, zoom in here where we can see. This is what we've got so far. We're at 110 zoom, okay. Like I was just showing him, stick that up out of the way. Originally, all they did was put a tack in here and a tack in here, and then that was it. Then they welded a plate over the end of it. Well, what happened, the first thing to release, and we can tell, hang on, let's see if I can get this off of here. All right, here we go. The first thing to go, and you can tell by looking at it, if I can get it to zoom in and focus, is, whoops, where'd we go? The weld on that plate that ran along here, all the way around it, didn't penetrate the end or the metal at all. All their heat was on, that's still hot. Oh yeah, that's hot, I'm not touching that. The plate that was covering it, okay? So they had all the heat on the outside plate, and none of the heat was in the structural material that would have held it on there. So that was silly. So what we're gonna do is weld as far back in here, weld as far back in there, as far back in there, along the bottom here, put another piece here, and weld it in, and then we're gonna put a piece of 4x4 piece sheet, or a piece of 3/16 thick metal on the end, and put a nice good hot weld on it. I want to weld around the outside here, and then I'm going to grind it down flush because it can't be sticking up past this, or else the attachment arm, or whatever you want to call it, whatever that piece is called, will not slide over. So that's what we're going to do next. Around and cleaned up and ground down all the paint around their welds and simply ran good beads around everything where it had equal penetration on both materials. That's the problem. Like, some of their welds don't look bad just to look at it, but you can tell that, you know, if they're welding, like, let's just say, if they're welding this piece, instead of being at a 45 between the two angles, they were either like this, so all their heat's in here, or they were like that, and all their heat was in there. They didn't do a good job. They didn't do a good job making sure their heat and penetration was equally dispersed, which is very, very important when it comes to welding, not just it looks good. Want to just wipe it all in there real good. Here is our finished product. Okay, that's what we've got. And trust me, we will put it to the test, and you're going to find out whether or not it works. So stay tuned. But we're going to get this reassembled. Okay, and we're back. We ripped the end of the boom off, trying to get whatever's down here cut out. I sincerely believe it wouldn't have happened. Holy moly! This is what we call destruction. People are like, man, he's crazy. He tears everything up. Yep. Yeah, it's true. I am crazy. I do tear everything up. But I can fix it. And it'll be stronger than it was before. You know how I can prove it to you? Because everything that I've fixed hasn't broken for a second time. For example, bucket's still on there. Front of it hasn't ripped off. Heck, it's put under so much abuse that it's actually bending the mounting plate. So I'll have to modify that next. That will be the next thing to go down here. I'm sure that we're going to shear some pins off soon too, because they were looking pretty rough. But I don't want to think about it more. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. I'll get this one uploaded and tune in again for the next portion of this Backhoe Destruction series.